Good day and welcome, my name is Drake598Shadow and I am here today to give you a little bit of a tutorial on the Assault Specialist in Space Hulk Deathwing. As you can see, we are playing on the hardest difficulty and we are just going to be doing Chapter 6, as we've been doing with all the other classes, to sort of give them a fair evaluation. So we'll get stuck into the match. The Assault might struggle a little bit in this match, just by virtue of him not having any ranged attack. But the Assault class is very powerful.
That I had seen, and perhaps was the source of the visions that beset the Librarius. In the ancient Dark Angel ship, we uncovered a conservation chamber that held ancient gene seed from the Legion of the Lion, a gift of the Emperor's genius. Even as we celebrated this discovery, a terrible brood lord, the final evolution of gene stealers, assailed us, and we only vanquished it with much difficulty and loss. Our brothers came to our assistance, and with them we secured Caliban's will to ensure that no gene stealers would seize the precious gene seed.
So the Assault Specialist really does not have a large weapon loadout. He doesn't have any ranged attack at all, so that is something to be aware of. He does have one skill that sort of makes up for that, but we'll discuss that in a little bit later, in a moment's time. As soon as this loads, we will have a look at what weapons he does have available. So, the Assault Specialist has the Purgatory Sword, which is probably the main weapon used for taking out Broodlords or Ciphers on the hardest difficulty. The Assault Specialist is where he shines in those particular categories, taking down big foes. He can get overwhelmed by numerous little ones, so that is something to be aware of, but he really does shine at taking down the bigger foes. The Purgatory Sword is the best weapon for that, in my personal opinion, because it can get a Ultimate Adornment, which gives it a 300% attack increase, or increase to its damage, essentially, and it is one of the fastest weapons. The Mace of Absolution can be quite good. It is similar to the Thunder Hammer, in that it does have an explosive radius. It is just not as long range, and if you are using that, you'd probably want to take the perk for it. The Thunder Hammer is probably the second best weapon for him. It is not as good as taking down the big foes, but you will find it a lot easier to deal with all the numerous small enemies, as you'll be able to create that explosive radius where the Purgatory Sword does not. It is very rare for someone to take the Lightning Claws on him, just because you do lose the Storm Shield, which is very, very important in way of defense. Especially from ranged attacks, as it does when you do have it raised in your defense mode or block mode. It will give you sort of an invincibility barrier when shot, so that is very handy. He has 3 abilities. One is Critical Fury, which increases his attack speed and damage, I believe. One that gives himself personal invincibility, and one to teleport to target. The teleportation ability can be very useful when closing with ranged enemies. You can also just use the shield to close with ranged enemies. Just be aware that you will not be able to run with the shield up. That is definitely something that you will need to be aware of. And down goes the stamina thanks to the Thorax Swarm, but they do very little damage. The biggest thing with the Assault Specialist is going to be your timing on your swings. I find one of the easiest ways is to sidestep the opponent or to backstep and wait until after they have actually attacked, as that tends to leave them exposed in a lot of cases. A good perk that you can pick up for this guy is that smaller opponents will not be able to block or parry your attacks, so that can be a very useful skill, especially if you're just starting to learn him. But he does have other perks that are probably more useful in the long run. See, he just parried that one there, and they're all dead. So I'm not really going to be able to do much about any turrets or anything like that in this situation. He's rather lucky in that his invincibility shield does come up rather quickly. I think it's like 30 seconds. His critical fury does take the longest, and I would save that specifically for broodlords, as you can easily take down a cipher even without the critical fury. The teleportation, I don't really use that often unless it is to close with a long-ranged opponent, or to save an ally from something large such as a cipher or broodlord. And that is something that you may want to be aware of, to save that skill for such an occasion. Okay, so let's try to get out of here fairly quickly. And hope we don't have a broodlord like happened in the librarians video. Although, in this case, that could be a good way to shine for the assault, as dealing with these small guys is not really where you're going to get the most use out of him. It will be against the larger opponents that all the other classes might take a minute or two to deal with. Some, like the Apothecary, could even take up to like 5, depending on his configuration, where this guy will be able to take him down in a matter of seconds, regardless of difficulty or whether or not they be the enhanced versions from Chapter 6 onwards or not. It is not often that you do find enhanced broodlords though. They are the rarest of the enhanced versions. But I have made a tutorial on all the Xeno classifications if you are interested. So yeah, in that video I go into detail on what is considered an enhanced version and what is not. For X-rays. So what I might do at the end here, rather than so much trying to actually make it to the extraction point like I have been doing with the other classes, I might hang around for a moment to fight some of the bigger opponents if we have not had any come up, just to give you a little bit of a demonstration on how quickly he can deal with them, where most of the other classes will sort of have to evade in some regard. This guy can easily sidestep their blows and come up behind them and just demolish. The Assault Specialist is definitely my preferred for killing larger opponents. Gotta love it when that happens. It's always nice when you lock a door in a Xenos face. You can kind of see here why I do try to keep moving fast through most of these missions. As it tends to make it a lot easier rather than getting swamped. As now they will all have to search for another route to find and kill me. By which time we should be finished. And on to the last part of this chapter. The bane of this class, I would have to say, would be Psychers, as he doesn't have any real way to deal with ranged attacks other than his teleportability, and if he does not have that available, he will struggle quite a lot to deal with any sort of Psyker, as they can teleport around quite easily. I'm not going to be able to deal with that turret at all. Nope, must have been from outside the door there. Now what I would like to happen here is have a Cypher or Brewport spawn up. So I might go trigger the beacon.
Mission confirmation received. The ship will open fire once you've evacuated the area.
So I can hear something coming. Oh, there's two Cyphers. So let's go to the invincibility. And that's both Cyphers down there, quite nicely, which is always useful. There's not a lot I'm going to be able to do here, as I just do not have the range to take out any of those turrets, as I said, or the Psyker that was there, but I just wanted to demonstrate how quickly you can actually deal with those larger opponents. So I've been Drake598 Shadow. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to drop a like or a comment down below, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.